Hey, this is Dr. Don McGrath with another Scale Pathway Marketing Minute. And I was with someone the other day, someone who's in our programs, and we were working on an offer, one of her offers. And it came down to setting some prices on some things. And she said, well, should I make this $297 or $299 or $300? What should I do? And I mean, conventional wisdom, you see a lot of things out there, 297. It's kind of what in the space of entrepreneurs seems what we do. But I thought, heck, stop guessing. Let's go do a little bit of research. So I did just that. I went out and I did a little bit of research as to what's some of the science behind some of these pricing things. And I came across some weird pricing psychology. And I thought I would share this with you because I think it's rather fascinating. And I'll share with you some takeaways, some things that you may want to consider. So here's some of the things I found. There's something called left digit bias. And what this means is that consumers tend to perceive just below prices, that $1.99, $2.99, $1.99, $2.99, as being lower than they actually are, tending to round to the next lowest monetary unit. So that left digit, we tend to read left to right. And so that left digit has a pretty significant impact on how we consider pricing. So prices such as $1.99 may tend to be associated with spending $1 rather than $2. $199 is associated more with 100 rather than 200. So it does provide a bias. So here's another little factoid. So approximately, there was a study done that looked at advertising materials, a broad range of advertising materials. And what they found is that 60% of prices in those advertising materials ended in the digit 9. Okay, so the majority of them, 30% ended in the digit 5, like $1.95, $1.95. 7% ended in 0, and then the other 3% were the others. So 7, ending in the number 7, wasn't even significant in what's out there in advertising materials. Okay, now it's a very broad study, but that gives us some information. So there was a couple interesting experiments. In one experiment, participants were asked to consider 2 pens. One was priced at $2 and the other at $4. And the research manipulated the prices a little bit to understand this left digit bias. So they manipulated the prices, and they found that when the pens were priced at $2 flat, $2 and $3.99, that 44% of the participants selected the higher price pen. So almost half chose to buy the more expensive pen at $3.99. But what's fascinating is when those same exact pens were priced at $1.99 and $4. Okay, so that's just a difference of $2.01 versus $1.99. Okay, only 18% of the participants chose the higher price pen. Okay, because the left digit's going from 1 to a 4. And in the previous experiment, it went from a 2 to a 3. So this bias can be fairly significant. Okay, fairly significant. So it's something to be aware of in our pricing. There's another experiment where researchers studied round prices. What does it mean to have round prices? These are prices that end in 0. So one set, $30 and $40, was compared against $29.99 and $39.99 for a certain set of products. And people were shown these sets of prices, and most perceived the 2 round prices, that's the $30 and $40, to be more similar to one another than the 2 just below prices. So people perceived that 30 and 40 were closer together than $29.99 and $39.99. And based on the perceived price difference, a relatively large percentage of people opted for the $40 option compared to the $39.99 option. So this is weird pricing psychology. Okay, it's very interesting to study, but it's something that you should be aware of when pricing your products. So here's some takeaways. Pricing considerations are always comparative. I mentioned this in a previous video, that we don't think of prices in a vacuum. Just to know something costs $100 is not meaningful. That's always compared against something else. Okay, in order for us to make a purchasing decision, it's always got to be compared against something else. And the comparative value, so comparing a price of $100 to the value of what it can do for me, what it means to me, what it enables me to do, solves a problem for me, it swamps out any of this weird pricing psychology, okay? So it swamps it out in terms of the effect and is really the best place to focus. But that being said, that why not take advantage of this weird pricing psychology? So pricing things just below with a 5, a 7, or a 9 at the right digit tends to outperform rounding price due to this left digit bias. It doesn't seem to matter. I've done a little bit of study, and it doesn't seem to matter whether it's a 5, a 7, or a 9 in that right digit. Okay, I've read some studies, and it doesn't seem to matter. Most of the data in advertising literature has used the number 9. That's where most of the information is. So it's probably a good place to start, okay? But I haven't seen any convincing data to say that it really matters, because what really matters is that left digit, not the right digit, okay? So also, when you present two options, if you've got two different prices for a couple of different services you offer, using round numbers may bias the purchasers toward the higher price. So if you would really rather have people buy the higher priced item, using two rounded numbers, rounded prices may actually bias things toward the higher price. And likewise, using just below pricing, things that end in a 5, 9, or 7 may bias purchasers toward the lower price. So something to consider when setting your prices for when you are offering more than one thing. Presenting discounts with a price drop has a large effect in purchase likelihood. So when we have a higher price and then we introduce a lower price drop, as in a discount, that makes a huge difference. In fact, there was one study on cars that showed offering a 12% discount, ending up at the exact same price, but one started off higher and offered a 12% discount. It nearly tripled the number of buyers. It went from like 20% to 60% of people making that purchase. So price drop is very, very, very good idea. Offering discounts is a great idea. When you put together offers, always offer that discount. There's almost no better way. All right. So I hope you found this interesting. And I hope you're able to utilize this weird pricing psychology in setting your price. If you always wondered, like, why do we set something at 197, 199? That's the reason. It's left digit biasing. And it is a true psychological effect. It has a significant effect, and why not take advantage of it? But always remember, everything is always comparative. It's always the price compared to either another price or a price compared to the value of what it's going to do for me. It's usually easier, almost always easier to make the price seem very, very low compared to the value that you deliver. So that's always the place to focus. But I thought I'd share this very short video about some weird pricing psychology to answer the question. So I hope you found this useful in setting the prices for your programs and products. I'd love to hear what you think. Drop something if you found this really interesting. If you found it useful, go ahead, and I'd love you to leave a comment. If you'd like to know more, then go ahead and send me a direct message or drop something in the chat. I can share with you more about what we do. But I'd love for you to drop a comment. Let me know, did you like this weird pricing psychology? I think it's fascinating, and I'm going to do some more research on it. So as I find out more, I will share this with you. I hope you enjoy this. Let me know what you thought of this, and I'll see you in the next lesson.